that they're red side. I wonder what AD carries we're going to see banned. I still think Lucian's going to be off the table. They're not going to ban Draven. Like, there's no way you ban Draven in this scenario. Surely not. If you ban the Draven, that means you have fundamental issues with the 2v2 that you're not able to work around that. It's not a strong enough pick on its own, in my mind, to ban it away.
Maybe, but sometimes people have their tilt champion, where it's just like, I just can't play against this. And right now in this series, this is a problem. Let's just get it off the table. But it doesn't excuse the fact that, yes, it is a fundamental issue. But if you just want to put it on the Band-Aid and try and win this series right here, right now, then maybe it's something that you have to do. Vlad ban coming up against Jizuki. His Vlad was very good.
Yep.
So they will aim that towards him on the red side. Azir going to be banned away. Makes sense.
And at this point, it kind of puts them in a situation where, like, if SK were looking to pick up a Ryze off the first pick themselves, you don't want to give over a scaling team fighting mage like a Vlad at the same time, because then it's like, well, whichever one of us gets slightly further ahead probably is going to do better.
Exactly.
So take away that option. We didn't see it banned in the first game. We did, however, see the MF ban by Forge.
Yeah,
I don't think
they
we'll
care
see it
about
again.
that anymore? I mean,
not on red side, surely not.
Yeah, so Kindra's going to be banned up against Taiki. He's had some good performances. Nearly the best jungler right now, really, when you look at the pool. And waiting towards the last ban from SK Gaming. They banned Alistar last time against Hiva. I'd probably just like to see maybe the same, because Alistar, well, Hiva having Alistar was what was getting them into so many fights, and maybe that last game would have been even more bloody if he had that pick. So Ryze is going to be picked up there, so we're not going to see a first rotation from either side on that pick.
Lucian ban here. Whoa,
MF
so it's going to be first pick Lucian here. Like,
what else can you prioritize?
Graves would be the other priority, or the Elise if you want it.
Yeah, it's either jungle or Lucian if you really care about having the Trundle, but it doesn't matter with the way that the bans have gone.
I mean, we just saw SK lose out in a 2v2 to an early-ish game laner like the Draven with that kind of presence.
Correct.
Surely you don't let the Lucian go over at this point. Because it'll do the same kind of thing to you. So SK now, surely it's got to be jungle. Or the Lucian, sorry.
Yeah. I like it.
I feel like you've got to pick up something super strong here in this first pick. That's why it's so contested. You get this situation.
Yeah, okay, so it should be the Lucian lock-in here. So looking towards what Team Forge will pick up in return. Like, Trundle's available. Alistar, you don't need to pick early. Victor?
What?
So at the last second, they swap up to Victor. So Lucian's available now for Forge.
Hang on, at this point, like, Lucian and Alistar are up if they want them. Like, that's the bottom lane
rotation
that Forge want to play. Also, if they want to go out of the jungle, Taiki is hovering the Elise at this point.
You prioritize it last game, gonna pick it again.
Okay, so for SK, do they now take away the Alistar?
Yeah, does it hurt Hiva that much? Not even sure.
I mean, maybe. We've only now seen him on Alistar and Braum.
True.
Okay, that was locked in, so no surprises on the Lucian getting picked up. For SK now, Nidalee banned, Kindred banned, will we see the Graves again? You know, the farming style jungle.
Yeah, we've seen some Rek'Sai and LCK. I saw it earlier in the series today. I don't think its priority is as high.
I don't think so.
As the other picks, personally.
So
what else? So now now we have the issue of the Lucian that we need to address. So what are we going to pick here? Like an Ezreal or a Caitlyn?
You could go Sivir Alistar on this rotation with a Victor and try and run the same thing again, only better.
Sure.
Because now you've not got a Trundle, you've got an Alistar with it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just like you can pick the Maokai in the last rotation and just go ham, go all in on the fight. If you feel like you're not going to lose the lanes particularly hard, I guess one way of not losing bot lane would be to pick Caitlyn and just say, you want laning, I'll give you laning.
Yeah.
And just hit him from a mile
Feels
away.
like a Band-Aid to me, though, and maybe not the right type of one. The one that only covers part of the wounds, and they're still gonna have problems in game.
It's like a blister plaster when you've got like a giant...
like a gun. It's just like, this is okay. It's just like, I don't know. We'll see how it works out. Morgana as well as a more defensive support. They must be running... What else are they going to run from here? Well, we'll have to see. They've locked in their bottom lane here. Or the mid lane. Oh, no. They've already picked up the Victor.
At the same time, though, you've now got a Caitlyn needs time for the late game. Viktor somewhat needs time. So you better pick something from the top lane that can at least facilitate that. So I'm now looking for what SK round out. The same with the jungle pickup as well. It's got to be the Alistar at this point for Forge. I mean, it's Hiva.
Yeah, he's never going to let down the opportunity to pick up Alistar.
It's like when he used to play Annie, it would be like, oh, Annie's available. Hiva's already locked it in.
Yeah.
It's already gone.
If Hiva was a top laner, he'd be picking that as a priority against anything else. He'd be like, I know you want the Lucian, but give me that support. So Karma would be an interesting pick. That would be Jizuki. And every single time he picks up a new mid laner, I give him the benefit of the doubt because every single time he does well. So
we have seen a few Karma games.
We have.
I like it in the mid lane. Very difficult to kill. Doesn't exactly carry the game solo in any kind of sense unless you're GBM, who somehow can do it in his games. But again, it's another situation where they've got a Lucian and an Alistar, and they're like, great, we want to fight early. How do we get into that fight? Well, Karma gives you one of those options, gives you multiple ways. You can pop that mantra'd shield on everybody, run themselves in. You've also got the slow field, you've got a stun. So certainly facilitating some of the other roles here.
Yeah, and we'll see how that works. But I mean, like, if Gab's got a strong early game AD carry, then maybe he's going to get fed enough where they can facilitate that. Mimic goes for like a more damagey top laner, so not quite a tank, but maybe like a Poppy, an Echo, something like that. And then looking towards SK. They'll lock in the Rek'Sai. Okay, so that's where the priority goes for Caesar. We're seeing more and more people do that now. And last pick will be Echo. All right, okay. So most likely going to the top lane here.
So these are two picks now that can kind of hold their own throughout the earlier parts of the game. When you look at the early skirmishes, those two together should be able to duo fairly well. The problem is now, depending on who Forge lock as a top laner, Elise plus X tends to work pretty well as well.
Yep.
If this is standard lanes, this is where I'll expect to see a little bit more pressure going onto that Rek'Sai early. We had a couple of lane swap games, and Rek'Sai managed to get through the early game fairly well. When it comes to dueling in the jungle, not as good as the likes of an Elise at this point. One Cocoon, you lock him down, the damage comes out. Rek'Sai tends to suffer. We will see exactly how it goes. Standard lanes, lane swap will affect this very much so.
Last pickup, Poppy. I like it. I mean, Echo's gone into the top lane, so you pick Poppy. What are the other alternatives? Really, you want someone who can deal damage as well as be tanky. Could have gone Maokai, but also doesn't pack the same punch as Poppy. But if you are just going for team fights, then...
I also quite like Mimic's Poppy in the last game. Some of the crucial fights, we only had a handful. Some of the crucial fights, there were double knockups on the carries, knock up on the Graves as well. Don't let that damage come out. So I actually think Mimic's Poppy was pretty good. I'm looking forward to now seeing how Ruin can do, because as we said, if he's on those half carry style champions that have damage, have crowd control, he can set up fights and look very good with a Caitlyn alongside and a Viktor. If this game goes long, SK have a very potent later game composition.
I also think Ruin's going to be happy in his laning phase, because now he's less of a punching bag as Maokai, and he actually has like a gun to fight back, and actually has Maokai, because before it was just like, it was just Mimic waiting on him for the entire laning phase and then pushing him in with the Herald buff. So now Ruin can fight back and maybe have a winning lane for them, because the problem is every single lane just lost last game. That was a big issue for them. Taking a look at Keystones, anything new here? Viktor's going to be going Storm Raiders Surge in the mid lane.
So as soon as you hit the ult or the E or anything that deals damage,
you're gonna go fast.
Like running.
It's so easy to get that proc off, really. There is no way you're not dealing 30% of someone's health.
If you're not, something is going wrong.
Correct.
Horribly, horribly wrong. Viktor Ultimate does disgusting amounts of damage.
Yeah, it's not even that hard to hit either. Comes down very quickly and also a pretty big AoE. So, we're going to be getting into Game 2 here between SK Gaming and 4G. Remember, the winner of this game and this series will be going into Summer Challenger Series.
So, SK pick a composition and pick a bot lane that they want the 2v2 for. I wonder whether Forge will just blind swap out of this. Sometimes... it's something we're going to see more and more is teams blind swapping, because there actually are benefits to it, of actually being the team to actively lane swap. Problem is, SK do have themselves fairly fast push with the Morgana, with the Caitlyn, so they would be able to kind of make up for some of the tempo that would be lost if they wanted to take the first dragon. Still would put them slightly far behind, though. But certainly something that, as we see more games come from LCS, from Challenger, from LCK, LPL, we will get a lane swap meta actually start to evolve and solidify itself.
Yeah, we've just been kind of drip-feeding games into the pool right now for people to fully understand what is the most effective tactic available to them.
So, SK just showed on a ward. We're looking to stop any kind of Gromp start. They didn't have the information on that. Now they do. Gap is going to assist with the early take, and so is Unlimited, actually. Hiva chasing out. Rek'Sai doing her own Krugs. So, honestly, not the greatest impact on this, other than now SK have information on where Taiki has started. They know what part of the map he's at. Whereas on the other side, Forge are just going to have to infer that it was a bot lane start from Cesar.
It's been a while since we've seen Karma mid be proactively picked in the mid lane. I remember last time we saw Karma mid was when she had a lot of power in the early game with Mantra, and now some of that's been shifted away to scaling, because before it was just absurd.
And look, however, to bring it back down to the bottom lane for a second, we will get on with the Karma. Vardax hit level 2 early because Hiva trying to chase Unlimited up through the jungle, actually up through the river, meant that Hiva wasn't in lane in time, so it actually gives SK a somewhat slight advantage right now. Problem is, Gap says, okay, well, I'm not even going to try and fight this. I'm going to step back in the lane, try and get under the tower when it comes to the CS. Actually missed a couple there, unfortunately, at the end, so couldn't quite tidy up the wave to even the CS, but certainly just smartly played by Gap to take a step back.
Yeah, to be fair, he even messed up once, so it's 50-50 blame on ADC and support.
Ooh, Cesar invading against an Elise. Gets the ward down, knows Elise has the red buff, so knows he probably doesn't want this fight if the Cocoon lands, but can go mid lane. Look at how far Jizuki is pushed up, in for the knock-up.
It should be very easy to set this one up, but he's out of range. And Jizuki, he's just going to laugh it off. He's good to go.
Went for the manual unburrow bot lane.
Got this engage in from Gap and Hiva. Oh, down onto Unlimited. We'll take him down to half. Taiki back into his jungle, going to be farming away. And a lot of unfortunate things in this game so far. Unburrowing at the wrong time.
The manual unburrow. So there is a slight extra radius that you can unburrow manually that won't give you the auto, but mid lane.
Suno is going to take the explosion damage from the Mantra as well, but follow up with the power transfer, and he definitely won out in that trade against Jizuki.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just unfortunate. Cesar was trying to do that very edge of the targeting circle. Mid lane given a blue buff. Suno getting blue very early on.
Wow.
So, not something you always see.
Trying to make these lanes win this time.
Yeah, give them everything.
Yeah,
give
it's
them
like said, it's just like, if you're already losing, guys, I can't help you, but I'll set you up for success.
I guess that is one thing why he perhaps has gone for the Rek'Sai route rather than the Graves route.
Facilitate the lanes. And if you still lose, then it's not on me.
Not going well for Mimic up in the top lane.
That's good for SK. I mean,
for SK.
You know, like Ruin's actually on the champion, they can deal damage now. Cesar gave mid lane blue buff. Bot lane had an unfortunate rotation, so they are ahead. And this means that Taiki needs to do something. Pulverized Flash doesn't land. Taiki gets interrupted by Unlimited's binding. And everything is coming up Millhouse for SK Gaming.
Yeah, but just mechanically, 3 or 4 already placed that are just like, it's so close, so close. So a very messy first 5 minutes of this game. Not exactly the most crisp of setups for a lot of this. Hiva forgets there's a black shield.
Yeah, and Hiva's going to take a lot of damage in return, and Gap is going to dash in right into a trap and take another headshot from Vardax. They're a little too keen to try and win this lane now. It's just like last game went so swimmingly, it's just like, let's just do that again.
Yeah, I mean, Forge will have themselves the sustain advantage in this lane at least. The Alistar can trade the mana effectively to heal back up on the Lucian. They've got Vardax health potion down. Only thing is Vardax is just about to crest that point where he can recall, get the BF sword, so all he needs is like 50 to 100 more gold off this next wave and he'll be able to get pots with the next recall. However, they are going to try and exploit that. They know Caitlyn wants just a couple more CS out of this wave, so has to step forward.
Round 2.
Oh, Morgana's gone
This time, Vardax is alone, comes in with a combo in from Hiva, and the follow-up from Gap will be the last auto attack for First Blood. and that was not the time to be warding Unlimited.
Timing, oh, so unfortunate from Unlimited. Morgana walks further into the lane and goes, just don't die for a sec.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ward.
The one time.
Oh man, that feels bad.
Yeah.
That honestly feels horrendously bad. Going for the risky ward as well, where it's like, well, I'll just ward the bush. I won't ward Try because, you know, she's never going to get through the jungle down into the bottom lane. I'll just go for the river.
Well, at that point, you start blaming your mid lane. It's like, come on, Suno, why didn't you ward the river? We would have seen him on the rotation ward.
Yeah, jungle, why didn't you have one on, like, Wraiths?
Yeah.
Like Raptors?
What's with that? But yeah, unfortunate timing there for sure. Ruin's still getting punished in the top lane, or rather Mimic is. Kind of going back and forth, actually. But slight CS advantage to Ruin, but this will probably even up as that minion wave goes into tower. Bot lane now, Vardags has that one death.
Yeah, so he managed to get the gold that would give him the 2 pots though, Pulse.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about it.
Good.
It's all good. He can get back to sustaining up in lane. On the other side of things, that was sarcasm, just in case.
Because you didn't catch that.
Yeah, just in case you didn't catch that. Somebody's going to be like, I can't believe he was so happy he got 2 pots out of that back. Gap on the other side, because of the range distance, has had to go swiftness boots early on. Typically, I normally get very frustrated when people get level 2
so
boots, or just level 2 boots so early from an AD carry roll, because it does delay your damage. But the fact of the matter is you're against a Caitlyn, and you've got a melee support, so you kind of got to avoid a lot of that, you know, early game damage, the early game harassment, and get to a point where the game opens up and you're not quite stuck in that 2v2. So it's okay. It's not bad.
Helps you close the gap, and he's still going to have the trading potential in that lane anyway, 1v1. And Lucian, one of his strengths is chasing people down in large expanses of space. That's why we saw Lucian top for a while, because he is incredibly good in long lanes.
Yeah, also helps him just close the distance as well, anytime they want to trade. Easier to get closer to Caitlyn, force her to trade with you. Slow attack speed on Caitlyn this point in the game. Can't really output as much damage, and her spells force her to stand still. So she tends to just get shot down very quickly if you're on top of her. So lots of reasons for the Swifties early.
Indeed. And he is well ahead in this lane. Going back to mid lane though, it's been a while since we've spoken about them since kind of the start. Let's wait until the binding lands. Yeah, Jizuki and Suno just kind of being toe-to-toe. Slight advantage to Jizuki, actually a fairly big one with 2 waves. I'm just seeing that small engage in the bot lane from Hiva. And Caesar is going to be going back into his own jungle, and he knows something's there.
Caesar.
Taiki coming up, coming down. He's going to flash onto him. Jizuki coming in from the mid lane to just put a bit of damage in return, and Chaos Storm was also used. So a lot of resources there. Flash for flash in jungle, and an ultimate used in the mid lane.
Binding bot into... Oh, look at this trade.
Oh, big punish in from Gap. He's going to use the culling as well. Flash combo. Gap is going to receive a binding and an ignite, but it's not quite going to run up in this lane as Ruin comes in, looking for the phase dive, jumps onto Hiva. Already used the Unbreakable Will, and with the rotation from Jizuki, that's not a fight that SK won.
And that was Vardags way over-committing onto the support there. Hiva got bound. Vardags stepped forward to put the trap underneath him, which then drew the Caitlyn into it. And as we were talking about, her abilities and just her low attack speed means you just go forward onto her as this Lucian right now. Morgana didn't have binding to stop him. The ultimate was attempted to be used, but they just didn't have the damage in the turnaround there. That straight 1v1, or at least like that small pocket, is always going to go Gap's way for now.
Well, as soon as the binding was down from Unlimited, it was just like, well, this is a free kill.
Yeah.
Just knowing that there's not much that the opponent can do once those spells have been burnt.
And Mimic held his nerve, did not choose to TP down. Nope. The call had been made by Forge that they were already out of this. So you'll see here as Vardags steps further forward into the lane. Gap's already pulling forward. Ardent plays into the double tap. E into the double tap. Culling, a little bit difficult, awkward angle on that one, but still, in comes Hiva for the follow-up. They've got the damage to pick him off, and from here, Ruin just does not have the ability to close this. He doesn't have the damage this early on. Hiva still running with his ultimate on. Easy getaway.
But when you look at that, that was a 2v2 kill, not only burning summoners from SK's duo lane, but also took a teleport. Like, that is such a big win for just a duo lane to get.
And not only that, it's a win that comes in 2 parts, right? Interestingly, Elise didn't kill that tunnel just so that she can sneak in behind here. If the tunnel dies, it gives away the gank. TP coming in, good setup so far. The minion wave isn't quite there. Alistar ult is coming up, very early setup.
And Vardags is already getting chunked down. He should be dead here. Culling comes in. Taiki's going to finish him off. Unlimited should also be falling. Mimic's low himself. And now the cavalry is arriving, but I fear it's too late. And Caesar also gets taken out of this fight. Someone needs to kill him. There we go. Taiki's going to be the one receiving that kill. 3-0 to 4G. Great setup.
I'm having flashbacks to the Fnatic Academy dive that we saw in their game 4 of the group stage, but for completely different reasons. This is the same style of dive, but this is how you do it. You get down into them behind the lane, get behind the enemies, TP in early, get the dive on. You had the Alistar ultimate available, and more importantly, Ruin's teleport was not available to equal the numbers here. Again, this is a good setup on a dive here. Early TP, Taiki knew the different spots that he needed to avoid for the information. Vardags has nowhere to go at this point. Tries to set up the trap line, it's way too late. Caesar even tries to come down with his ultimate, and Forge survive with everything in this fight. Nobody dies, and they're able to just get themselves away from here. Even Karma's in this fight. Victor, a little bit too late on the pull down, can't quite finish off Mimic, and this is just 4G really playing that dive very well.
Yeah, very crisp timing on pretty much everything in that fight, and well executed on the spells under tower. Gotta commend Mimic as well for his heroic charge, pinning Vardags against the tower as he was trying to retreat. Is pretty difficult to do, and Caesar and Ruin will try and take this consolation prize here of the Rift Herald and probably give that to Ruin. So hopefully one lane will get ahead, but you just gave Mimic a kill and 2 assists.
Yeah, and honestly, watching that play, I mean, maybe there are small areas that could have gone even better for Forge, but it actually makes me kind of smile because you look at a team and you could see in that scenario that the players had thought about like the basics on that tower dive of like how is this done correctly. Any team doing that, I would look at and smile and be like, I like that tower dive. That was a fairly decent setup. It just compounds again the lead that the 2v2 has had. And SK picked Caitlyn Morgana. Oh, it's a trade in the jungle.
Kiva interrupted the tunnel using Pulverize just as the animation was starting. Won't pick up the kill, but we'll take him out of the fight for now. Parallel Convergence going to be charged up. Ruin preparing for the worst as 4G were looking for another dive, but this time 4 versus 3, gonna pull out.
Caitlyn Morgana double ranged into an Alistar, and still there are 3 deaths on the Caitlyn. You should be able to sit in that lane and farm up. Even if you're not harassing the Lucian down, even if you're not opening up a CS lead for yourself, there is no way that this lane shouldn't go even.
It's part of the whole point you pick it in Champion Select, right? Like we saw that early on, and it's just like, well, it's not an edge draw, it's not something for like a mid-game power spike.
And it's not even like Forge have just been committing everything all the time. They have focused bottom lane somewhat, but at the same time there were mistakes made by SK in the 2v2, and that opened up the gap that has now been exploited by the rest of Forge.
Well, Taiki almost getting the binding there from Unlimited, but that bot lane is just so far behind, and Hiva, 5 assists in this game, and he has been having such a good time.
I mean, he gave him the Alistar.
Yeah, that's the other thing as well. They they target banned the Vladimir, which they didn't even ban in game 1. It's just like, now this is an issue. And it's weird because maybe an Alistar ban would have changed the pace of bottom lane.
Now, one thing we did talk about, Pulse, though. Victor the Caitlyn. Good wave clear.
Yep.
You know, decent in kind of small number skirmishes, probably going to get out 5v5 by this Forge team, but later on into the game, you've got the Victor damage, you've got the Caitlyn damage, so this was a very small blip for SK. They have reconnected to the game, I believe, otherwise we wouldn't be continuing. They aren't just going like, hey guys!
That's 2v5.
Redo.
Though it may feel like that right now.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure they get a reconnect very simple. As you say, we run on a delay, so these kind of things don't affect us. We just get to continue.
Yep, you don't have to sit here and watch our goofy faces try and fill some time. So 0-5 in this game. SK not having the best start. They are 3,000 gold behind, but they did manage to take a tower. So if anything, silver linings and all that, they won't get perfect gamed. Caesar is going to come into this top lane. Trap line has been assembled by Vardags. He's only got 2 points in that one, so 3 traps have been put out right now. And Caesar is going to be taking this blue, with giving it over to Suno as well, and they will be good to go. So what are we doing in terms of items? Haven't visited those yet. You're looking at the Rod of Ages from Zuzuki, and on the opposite side, Suno's just been gunning towards those Hex Core upgrades. Top lane, Actually going all out and picking up the Sunfire Cape early from Ruin, not going for components of other items, so immediately with that tank item. And Mimic is actually going for a build that you would usually see in an Echo, where you have the components. You have a Spectre's Cowl and a Barmy Cinder.
Yeah, just getting those parts. I'm just going to get it for later.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay.
There you go. We assemble all at the same time. Jizuki still laning away. 16 minutes into this one. Dragon's going to be up in 2 minutes from now.
What is it? Oh, it's Mountain.
Mountain.
So, Forge already have themselves a cloud. Now we're looking for a mountain. Mount Everest at the end of it. Is that if you get like 3 mountains and a cloud?
3 mountains in the cloud. Yeah, so it's like a big mountain
actually
in the clouds
anyway.
That's true. That was, yeah. Well, at what point does it stop being a hill and be a mountain?
Now in the UK that is actually defined as, oh damn, I can't remember which one it is, because there's a film made about a hill that is by my house actually in Wales, where it's like 3 meters under, and they built 3 meters of man-made like soil on top of it, so it classified as a mountain.
Really?
Yeah, but it keeps slipping, so it becomes a hill, so they have to rebuild it all the time. Anyway, that's completely besides the point. There's one person out there that's like, oh, I know about that.
It's like, yeah, so good. They're like going to go up that hill today and be like, I knew it. It's now a mountain. I knew a new fact.
What started as a molehill has become a mountain for SK right now when it looks at their gold transition. I know, right? Thanks, Pulse. I guess that's why I'm here. Nothing else.
Just the transition.
I can take words and somewhat put them together.
It's like pop into a duo cast and it's like, guys, I'm just here for the transitions. Don't worry about it. Cesar's going to come into this mid lane, get the knockup onto Hiva as the headbutt was coming out. That was actually really nice timing. Yeah. And comes in with that binding there, and we'll back off. So for now, the mid tower is going to survive, but Forge, for sure, will probably take down this tower in the near future. Going to be roaming up to the top side as well. And I think the general thing in this game is, again, Forge have an early game advantage, and they just have control over the game. And the SK have not really made productive plays, and again, it's Forge doing the same. He was going to come in with the combo, but that would just allow Gap to take the tower.
Yeah, Gap didn't care. It was the combo just to get the damage on the tower. That was all it is. Cesar was up on the top side. I think he was spotted by that ward in the jungle that he's just passed over again. So they didn't want to fully commit, get another objective. 2 towers onto 4G right now.
And it's sad when it's just like, hey, just go 1v1 the ADC real quick, Alistair. Just go in.
It'll be fine, don't worry. SK, I don't really know if they want to start this mountain, because this is going to take a while. Yep. Or at least like compared to other Drakes. Taiki is here. Here come the TPs. This is why Mountain Drake is a difficult one to start if you don't have full confidence. They're getting collapsed on.
Oh, Ruin is not in a good place right here. Neither is Cesar. Jizuki's going to close in on Bardock, but now he's separated from the team. And maybe knocks someone towards him. Oh, the team kill. It feels so bad in this one. Jizuki's going to pay for it. But hey, at least we got the dragon. Good job, Jizuki. You went down for the cause.
Oh, man. That right there is funny. Oh my god. Blasting.
Because he may have gotten away as well.
Oh, well, Jizuki, he died for the cause. Mountain Drake goes over to 4G. Oh, that tickled me. I love when that happens.
That was so comical, just the way it happened.
I mean, at that point, Mimic's got a couple of options. You either let the ult expire and just hope that they don't turn on you afterwards. Let it finish, hit someone, or purposefully whiff it. So this was SK actually taking a bit of a risk trying to start the Mountain Drake. You can see he still had 4k health, and Forge were able to collapse. Hiva pops his ult, was getting fairly low, but was okay. And SK,
I'm away.
Rightfully so, honestly turn on Jizuki and try and get anything from this fight. There's no way that they can take the rest of the fight. So get something, get anything. Problem is they lose the dragon out for it, so it's a consolation prize that unfortunately gets evened up by a turret that follows. So still Forge come out ahead despite the assisting enemy team would be the old report function.
Jizuki immediately after the game.
How do I report in custom games?
Guys, can someone help me with this? Well, 1 and 5. SK have that 1 kill on the board. That actually went to Cesar, so maybe even not like a priority.
I guess you could call it griefing on the new report one.
True. Yeah, come on, Mimic. 1-0 and 2. Actually been having a very good game. Has held up against Ruin. Basically the same farm as well.
Ruin did get a nice stun in that fight, though. Did hit 3 people, slowed down Gap. I think it was Gap, Taiki, and Mimic were actually caught by the stun for a little bit of that fight. So, you know, it was decent. It was just nice to see. We were wondering what Ruin would be able to do on this Echo, where, you know, it's that kind of half damage, tank, mix.
Higher skill on that champion, because Maokai's just like W, Q, hit ult at some point in the fight.
Yeah, you just kind of keep walking forward. It's like that Principal Skinner thing out of Simpsons, where he just walks through the river and just keeps going.
Yeah, pretty much. But this time, there's a bit more complexity, or a lot more complexity. And Ruin is desperately trying to take this bottom tower. He should be able to get it. There's nothing really. Poppy's not going to straight up murder him one-on-one. 21 minutes into this game. Slightly slower, I would say, than the first game. At this point, Draven was already one-shotting people.
Yeah, at this point, the game is pretty much done in game one. So it's a win, if you think about it that way.
Yeah.
And again, we talked about if this game goes longer, there is the benefit for SK.
True. Late game Caitlyn hit like a truck.
Yeah, Caitlyn, I'm going to take a look at her gold right now, has enough of the pickaxe to go towards Infinity Edge. And honestly, it's the point at which you get the rapid fire cannon alongside that, that things really start being difficult. Forge? A two-man Baron attempt at 22 minutes. You do realize how much damage this does, right?
Well, let's see if it works. Taiki's dropping low. They're going to swap the aggro over to Gap. They're not going to be able to take it.
Oh, that was a big hit. Oh, no. It's all gone wrong.
Gap's trying to keep it up.
Oh, no, he flashed. Oh, my... Oh, that's so embarrassing.
SK are going to come over and be like, investigate the crime scene? Interesting.
Oh, I can't believe that just happened.
Well, that's 20 seconds on the death count. SK didn't get those kills, so not 3 and 5.
How do you do a near perfect 5-man tower dive with TPs coming out, rotations around lanes, and get 2 kills out of it?
So that
and then you run up to Baron, nobody around, and you're like, okay, guys, we got this.
Okay, we're going to be playing tower defense here. Mimic doesn't manage to land the ult, and this tower should be going down, but there's no minion wave for a little bit. Ruin's definitely going to get the bot tower. But in that scenario, you only need the opt-in from 2 members on the team. So like Taiki and Gap were both like, yeah, we can do it. And honestly, I thought they could for a second.
If they had one more person,
the faith was misplaced as they both died.
Taiki wants to fight though.
He's going to come in here. Unlimited is already out of this fight. Gap is going to carry on chasing after them. Ruin teleports in, but maybe not the best place he wants to be going in for. He's going to back off. Phase dive will keep him safe. 1 and 0, and they defend the tower. So, yeah, it was all a setup.
Yeah, they died to Baron to come back and get 1 kill mid lane. Yep. Yeah, that's...
But they didn't lose mid, did they? So, overall, net gain.
You can see the look Pulse just gave me after saying that. Oh, it was going so well in this game.
It was. Well, it's still going
so well. I mean, like, on a sense... Okay, we saw a couple of mistakes early on, mechanically, but that will, again, slow this game in favor of SK. They can rest assured now that no Baron attempt is going to be made in the next couple of minutes coming out from Forge. Dragon is going to be Infernal coming up next. So maybe Mount Doom.
True.
At this point. So that is going to be the next point of contention. If you're SK, you have to at least try and contest it. You can't really let a later Infernal Dragon go over either. Can't let the early ones go, but at this point you should be choosing to fight over them.
Yeah, I feel like 3 Infernals in a mountain would probably be Mount Doom.
Hiva is waiting here. Rek'Sai comes through. Hiva's waiting for somebody to pass by so he can try and 1v1 them. Or is it the long game? Does Ruin go up here?
Well, he's going to go down. Here's the teleport. He's got more people to try and get away from. Mimic now comes into the fight, but he's going to be cut off from the team, and the SK are going to close in around him. Gap will return a lot of damage. Culling's going to go onto Cesar. Ruin will flash in the way. What a great bodyguard. Takes the bullet for Cesar.
I mean, now it's an uncontestable Drake. The jungler just got chunked all the way out back to base and used ultimate already to try and get there.
Ooh, a little too close.
Oh, that was close for comfort.
Yeah, Taiki's going to get the smite down, luckily. But that was very close because the dragon kind of just went back into his home. And then almost got hit by Suno Laser.
Yeah, that momentary, like, almost reset where it's like about to start.
Almost went bad, but still another dragon over to Forgery right now. they are in a pretty good situation. They are building a quite the collection. They only need an Ocean Dragon, but there's not going to be an Ocean Dragon spawn this game.
You can only have 3 elements. Yeah.
Well, if they had a water-based champion, then they could go into the Avatar state.
If they had the Water Talia skin,
true,
then it would actually just be Korra.
Now I'm just thinking of like Nami as the Avatar.
I don't know how I feel about Titanic Hydra on Rek'Sai. Because I feel like if you're even attempting to build damage, you probably should have started with Warrior as a basis, and then gone Warrior into Tank to get the early game damage, because Titanic isn't exactly going to do too much for you.
But it does scale from the health you get from the Cinderhulk.
That is true. Like, I just mean that if you're even going to remotely try and go damage Rek'Sai, I don't know whether this is exactly the route that you'd want to go on things, unless you're planning on like clearing out waves with the Hydra passive.
Maybe.
It just seems like a weird one. I can't believe I'm going to say this, Pulse, but I feel like this makes slightly less sense at a first glance than the Black Cleaver that we see Dan build, because at least Black Cleaver fits in the current meta right now. When you're looking at armor shredding and the ability to kind of push towers, that kind of thing, I guess Titanic Hydra will allow him to push waves. That's a big spike from the inner flame.
Lots of damage in from Jizuki, and that will just be everyone trying to get out of here. Vardag's flash was burnt though, so just pinning him down into the wall. I will say that this is a pulse-approved build. If you ever want to go for Cinderhulk and Titanic Hydra, I will be behind you 100%. 4G gonna have 4 people on this Baron this time around, but Ruin's gonna get knocked into the wall and knocked into the wall again. He's not going anywhere. Can't even Chrono Break. And SK Gaming can't bail him out. So 4G will again start the Baron.
There's the engage tool down. It's now 4 versus 5 for SK if they want to try and get in on this. There is a potential Steel Smite is available for both junglers.
Eva is posturing aggressively. Jizuki's there to try and defend him. Mimic knocks away the smite, and that will be the Baron going down. They lock down on to Mimic, but Hiva, he's going to have to flash over the wall. Was taking a bit too much damage, especially with Suno and Unlimited's positioning. 4G, they have enough distance created just to go back to base. Yeah, and at this point, now the game becomes a lot more difficult because you've lost a lot of the reliability that the Victor's giving you of stalling out this game. They will, however, take the mid tower. Realistically, this is still late to take a mid tower, but they've been under so much pressure in the mid lane that they haven't been able to up until now. So, you know, any kind of win on objectives is a win for SK. Now they've got to get back away from this. You can see they are fleeing. One benefit is that Vardax can now set up the trap line. He should be 1 level away from being level 5 on trap. So he's been maxing Q. We've been seeing 2 schools of thought, maxing Q or maxing trap. And it's been a Q max for Vardax. Close to having all 5 traps available though. Yeah, he broke the straight line there. Mimic are going to push up, take this tower.
And not only the straight line, but you can see without the 5th trap, you can't actually cover the whole mid lane and people can just walk through. I mean, you still can walk through with 5 without perfect placement, but it just means you don't have to like slow down and edge your way through.
You just walk through.
It's like a Mission Impossible like laser course.
I mean, this one is kind of like a speed bump because you have to like, you know, reposition so you go through. You can't just like
line it up.
Exactly. I'm going through. There you go.
I realized like people at home couldn't quite see the motion that we were doing. Rest assured, it was pretty much apt.
Exactly what he was describing. Top lane, SK are going to try and defend this turret, but they've already lost the middle one. 4G are pretty much just taking everything that they want at this point. Taiki is going to lead the charge here, throw out a cocoon. Caesar is going to try and push up to the tower. Got to be very scared. Defiance has popped and Hiva will go in onto Unlimited. He's getting burned down. He'll have to flash away.
And again, all that is, they're not committing fully to it. Hiva goes in. Yes, he popped his ultimate, but it's just to push him back from the tower. You just go in, start any kind of fight. SK have 2 choices. They either commit to the fight and probably end up losing it because you've got an Alistar in front of you that's taking no damage and is about to knock up 4 of you when his Pulverize comes back up, or you back away, concede the objective, and from there, Forge, rotate out, look for further objectives for themselves.
Maybe they can do something onto Mimic here, but Ruin doesn't want any of this. We'll just go back to base and pick up some items. Picks up a cloth armor. So he's on 3 items right now. How are we doing in terms of the rest of the builds? Nothing really out of the ordinary from anyone else other than talking about Cesar's build.
Ooh, that's this is a little painful. The fact that Dragon number 4 is a second Infernal Drake.
Oh.
I was just checking it on my screen. We did pass over it. I mean, man, that's... If ever there's a problem here, I mean, Forge getting a second Infernal and then with the, you know, the ability to then take Elder and have 2 Infernals amplified by that Elder buff means that, yes, Victor and Caitlyn are decent in the late game. Probably not as good as double Inferno Lucian with a possibility of an Elder.
Yeah. At that point, Alice is probably going to do your AD carry.
Yeah, that point is where like supports start dueling junglers.
Yeah.
Like legitimately.
Yep. The dot combined with everything else.
You ever seen a Bard with that? Like,
yeah, hit like a truck.
Okay, well, SK want to try and fight
close.
this.
Maybe they can find a steal, not going to happen. Mimic's coming into this fight, and SK, the box is closed, and he was going in onto Ruin. They dropped the first kill onto Vardax, the second onto Cesar. Ruin is now being dropped down, trying to find him, knocks him into the wall. We'll probably be looking for a good place to Chrono break back onto Taiki, flash over that small wall there, but that will be a 2-0 over to 4G and the Dragon.
Yeah, now Forge at this point, 25 seconds on the Caitlyn, means they want to go and push some towers down. Victor and Morgana still are alive, but is it enough now with the rest of Forge set around this mid lane? Surely as soon as Hiva wants to go in, they're just going to try and fight.
Defiance comes up, and look at the shielding out from 4G. There's nothing that Suno can do. He can't trunk through any of that. Ruin comes in there, so does Unlimited, but 4G quite happy to take this middle lane tower. That goes down. Unlimited sticks around for a little too long. Hiva will find a punish alongside Gap, and Ruin can't do anything there to save Morgana. Middle inhibitor goes down, and 4G dominating position.
Vardax is up with Cesar, so they do have a kind of a reset on some of those health bars. So Forge don't want to overstep. They want to put themselves one game away from being in the Challenger Series, and this was how this Dragon fight, well, I guess attempted steal was not really going to go. You can see Cesar tried to come in, but the Venomous Bite into the Smite timing for Elise is just another one of those versatile things. Gives you the ability to control objectives very well. Mimic with the knock into the wall, he's landed that time and time again on this Poppy. I think it's actually been a very impressive performance from him. And Forge take that fight very easily, and at this point, Baron is up in 2 minutes. Elder Drake is another 3 minutes away. If this game lasts that long, I don't think SK can actually afford to take those fights. They don't even have a third item completed on Vardax yet, whereas Gap is past that rapid fire cannon and actually just completed the Bloodthirster as I'm talking about it. 4 items to 2.5.
There's just too much going wrong here for SK Gaming. Like, they haven't managed to get any beneficial trades on any of the objectives. It's not like they've gone Tower for Dragon or gotten the Dragons over towers, and maybe they can go for Elder and turn the game around. Everything has just gone over to 4G. They have advantages in every single category, but maybe they can find a pick onto Taiki that will help them stall out. Repel comes over. Hiva is there as well to try and save him, but the rest of the team cannot react in time. Hiva early. Unbreakable will. Maybe the rest of the team can do something here, but they have to keep in mind this is a 4 versus 5. So maybe they'll just cut their losses and run. And indeed, they will do the latter. Lose 2 members there, and SK Gaming, good setup.
Good setup, and you know, SK managing to punish Taiki and Hiva for being over-aggressive without the damage around with them. And again, it's the kind of thing that can slow the game down. The problem for SK at this situation, you get a fight like that. You get 2 critical picks. But look at the map. There's nothing to take from it. The only thing you can get here is vision control. Over the Baron area, you can get the Crab. You can fix your bottom lane now, push it back out, fix the middle lane that's pushing in towards you. You know it's going to continually push. Yeah. And now you've got to concede the area over Baron. So you establish vision control only to lose it again. Because Forge are going to be too strong as soon as they bring multiple people here. Yes, you've got the Crab vision. It will end up expiring. Baron is about to spawn. Forge are all back as 5 once again, so not a whole lot that SK can do to stop the at least start of the Baron for Forge if they choose to.
We're finally up onto 30 items for Vardax though, so his damage will start to multiply as he gets more on that full crit build, but I think if 4G, even if they just force Baron here, they would just straight up win the fight. He was very tanky. He's got a lot of health. And yeah, SK Gaming, they either need to find another pick, they need to find a beneficial fight in some way. Eva, at least that push, at least that engage was stopped by Unlimited.
Well, they're going to avoid the Crab damage, but if at first you don't succeed, try the same strat twice. The 2-man Baron last time didn't go so well for themselves. This time we'll see if it goes better. Not on vision and with a lot of health. This one is way easier. Well, at least that worked out.
Yeah.
That would have been embarrassing if that wouldn't.
SK Gaming hoping that again they just execute a Baron, but not gonna happen today. And this is just a very dominating performance once again in the second game. Not as dominating as the first one. Draven went absolutely huge. But it's one of those picks which is just like you don't want to play every single game, but as like a curveball pick, something that you don't give them time to adapt to it, and it can give you a win in a series, and then you just play from that momentum. That's what Forge are doing here. In
this game, they didn't even need to, because the Lucian was left available and given over.
True.
I mean, SK hovered it, and were like, we'll just pick the Caitlyn Morgana into it, and then lost that 2 versus 2 from mistakes coming from SK. Forge right now, they get the Baron buff, they're going to shove out mid, shove out bot, Poppy's going to go top. It gives them the Elder Drake, and you may think, well, they've already won the game, why don't they just go and push it? Honestly, if you get the Elder Drake, there's like almost a 0% chance of losing this game from here. Like Baron plus Elder with 4 dragons that precede it is like the money solution to everything. You have everything you could possibly have to close a game in that scenario.
SK Gaming. 20 seconds remaining on this one. Taiki and Hiva, this tag team, still waiting, trying to find a flank.
I mean, SK also know they have to fight here.
Yeah.
There's like such a small chance they win this fight, but if they do, they have enough time on the death timers to actually deal critical damage as well, get themselves straight back into this game. Ruin is heading top lane. He's not going to be here in time for the fight.
Dragon, or rather, yeah, Dragon's up, but Teleport is up as well for Ruin, but he's going to have to come fast because realistically, if SK lose this one, then the game is dead regardless.
This takes a while to die. He does have a moment before he can TP in, but he has to kind of start now. Yeah, there we go.
Hiva's waiting. Flash, pulverize. He will be coming into this fight. Vardax is already zoned away. He can only hit the Alistair. Ruin's into the backlines, but he just simply doesn't have the same damage. He's been limited, and Cesar also going to be shoved out of here. Ruin is going to bounce back in with a phase dive, but they've already lost Suno, and the rest of the Roaches have scattered. Vardax is going to go down here, and 4G keep up the chase. They don't even need Elder Dragon. They'll just come in for the win.
All the flashes forward again from Forge just in the last kind of fight when you look at it. Still 30 seconds on the death timers. It's going to be Inhib going down, and look, Mimic is tanky, Taiki is tanky as well. If Forge wanted to do this, in fact, Mimic just recalled. He's going to... no, it was Karma recall looking for the TP into mid lane, so they're going to be able to just push this down. This is going to be Forge taking this game.
Yeah, there's nothing that SK can do here. They don't have any real damage dealers. They just have to delay the inevitable, and Hiva's just going to go right onto these Nexus turrets. 4G, 2 games in a row in this best of 5. They are a match point.
Wow, it's been 2 pretty dominating games for 4G when you look at it. I mean, they're looking very impressive.
Yeah, we're not going to have 4 dominating games because the series will be over after 3, but...
Wow. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for the math.
No problem.
I'm glad you're here. We can keep me honest at that point. I mean, there was a lot of discussion when the groups were released. That was like, man, Group A, Group of Death, you got like Fnatic Academy in there, you got Low Priority, like all of these teams that people are like, oh, even like ESG, and everybody was like, so many stacked teams. And people looked at Group B and were like, I don't really know where the skill level is on everything. But Forge, man, the top seed out of Group B are just showing that, well, we'll just tear apart the second seed out of Group A.
Yeah. Maybe they came out of nowhere as well, because when you look at the rest of the lineups, it's just like, even Chef, for example, like Polish lineup, a lot of names that we've seen earlier, and Godbro in the mid lane, and they fell down. 4G, with maybe less known players, with Taiki we've known for a long time, Hiva as well, but they've come together better than most teams, and you're absolutely right, they are wrecking the opposite group right now, so we'll have to see how this series concludes, as we are going to take another quick break, but we'll be back with Game 3 in just a bit.